Well, let's have a look at the state of the nation. Thousands of patients remain stranded in public hospitals across the country as the doctors' strike entered its 47th day. Patients were being turned away in most hospitals for lacking of services. This comes as the Council of Governors was summoned to appear before the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Health, deliberating on the ongoing doctor strike that entered its 47th day. Members of the Joint Committee accused the devolved units of failing to honor their responsibility in funding medics as per the collective bargaining agreement, even as KMPDU announced that the industrial action will continue countrywide. Take a listen.
That means I'm suggesting this meeting cannot go on without COG and all other important stakeholders, and put them on summon as soon as possible, as our standing order says, so that we have all the players on table and come up with a resolution to save the lives of Kenyans.
In a bid to end the prolonged deadlock between the government and striking doctors, a joint parliamentary sitting on health on Friday summoned top officials, including Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, and Labour Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore. The summons, orchestrated by the Senate Standing Committee on Health and the Departmental Committee on Health of the National Assembly, aims to address the escalating crisis that has currently crippled the nation's healthcare system for 43 days.
National Treasury is missing. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Maybe we need to hear from members.
Can I go first?
Senator Wino. Honorable Wino.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Kenya is in crisis, and people are dying en masse, even from diseases which could have been intervened by our people who are now on strike. For example, I'm losing over 10 people a day, mothers and children. And Chair, it appears to me that perhaps the previous failures of these meetings is that it's not taken seriously.
Council of Governors Chairperson Anne Waiguru and COG Health Committee Chairperson Muthomi Njuki have also been called upon to appear before the committee on Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. Additionally, the Chairperson of the Public Service Commission and Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki Muchiri and Lynn Mungech, are expected to attend the session.
Is that it's not taken seriously. That's why meetings have been aborted. I could not imagine that COG could fail to attend such a meeting. Perhaps we need to interrogate our constitution, whether COG exists legally or is just a mere club. Number two, the Ministry of Labor and Treasury with junior representation. Chair, how would you attend meetings in World Bank when your house is on fire? And all the excuses that we have had in these apologies, how can that be? So my submission, Chair, is that Parliament is the highest apex, is the highest institution on this land, and Kenyans are looking upon us to have some reprieve, to have some solution to them, to their crisis. And if Parliament is not respected, we have in our standing orders, Chair, that we should invoke.
Expressing disappointment over the government's failure to find a solution, Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago, who chairs the committee, emphasized the urgency of the matter during a meeting with medical unions who showed up to update the parliamentarians. Mandago criticized that no show of governors and other players tasked with ending the impasse to update the legislators, stating, quote and unquote, "I don't think there could be any other meeting that was so crucial than the one to solve the crisis of health we have in the country."
Those governors, the Council of Governors, including even the chair of health of the Council of Governors, who is not here, must be summoned to be able to come here and give the way forward. A matter cannot come to this house and we continue playing politics on it. If these stakeholders were invited were serious, they would have been here to be able to resolve this crisis. it is not just about the current stalemate. It is also about us as a nation avoiding finding ourselves in this quagmire again in the future. And the people who are bearing responsibility in ensuring that Kenyans receive the services that they deserve from our government must take their responsibilities seriously.
There has been an accusation, for instance, an accusation that I wanted to find an answer to, that the government walked out of a meeting on the 27th of March that had been scheduled to discuss these very matters. And when the CS of Health appeared before the Senate, she said they never walked out. So I was hoping both the union to be here, the unions are here, and the CS to be here, so that we find out who's telling the truth. But clearly from today's demonstration, I can now believe the doctors when they say the government ran away from them.
You can see, Chair, the commitment of all these members of parliament.
According to the government, the whole nation approach order by the Labour Court has resolved 18 out of 19 issues, with the exception of concerns regarding medical interns.
Kuwa na maswala 19 ambayo walihitaji yatatuliwe. Kati ya hayo maswala 19, 18.5 yameshatatuliwa. Na katika kutatuliwa huko, pesa taslimu shilingi bilioni 6.1 zimepeanwa kwa madaktari. Kwa hivyo, hilo jambo ambalo 5 halijatatuliwa sio kwa sababu serikali haitaki kutatua. Ni kwa sababu kuna kesi kotini ambayo imesema hilo jambo lisubiri. Basi serikali inasubiri hilo jambo litatuliwe, kisha yote 19 yatakuwa yametatuliwa. The ministry has received 2.4 billion for payment of internship. And I want to clarify that this 2.4 billion is available to the ministry up to June 2024. So the offer of 70,000 for those interns who need to be posted is still available, and this offer shall have to be renegotiated after June 2024.
Head of Public Service Felix Koskei on Wednesday, he said, quote and unquote, the union backtracked on the return to work formula that we had mutually settled on after a series of 6 marathon meetings. Their new demand on medical interns is an all or nothing out of court settlement.
Remember, from 21st March, we had a meeting. On 27th March, we had a meeting. And the latest meeting that we had was yesterday, where we had candid discussions, and we had largely agreed on almost all the issues except one. All the issues, in fact, the issues that were concerning the counties were cleared 100%. The issues that concerned national government were all cleared except one, the issue of payment of interns. And we all agreed, and even we initialed the draft document, and we agreed that the union leadership goes back to report to their council and their membership so that they can ratify for us to come and sign the return to work.
In response, Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacist and Dentist Union Secretary General Dr. Davji announced plans for further protest on Tuesday to press the Ministry of Health for action. The march aims to address what the union perceives as the ministry's disregard for doctors' concerns.
There's no money, there's no victimization, there are no threats that will change our mind on this. And that's why we told them that if you think you have offered us something worthwhile, and then you want to violate our CBA on the part of interns, then that is a no. And it will remain a no until everyone is protected, from the interns to the consultants.
I would like to congratulate every doctor who has received either a Shoko's letter or a sacking letter. Put that in your remembrance album. It will show your blood streaks, your strained souls, on the foot of the sand as you're struggling. Your chairman has been sacked 8 times. It will become totally embarrassing at the end of this bitterly embroiled war if you come out with nothing. The strike by the doctors continues, and now with the new set gear, following the publicity of the lies that have been set forth by the negative ad said, led by the cabinet secretary, we are now back to our 19 demands in full, in total, because we do not trust their words anymore.
Rejecting the government's offer to meet most demands, Dr. Atela insisted on the inclusion of the contentious 206,000 salary for medical interns.
The cabinet went against the court's order and still endorsed the 70,000. That shows you the contempt to which the government has decided to all this profession. As a union, we are saying, yes, we can negotiate about everything else, but we cannot negotiate on any issue that violate the sanctity of the CBA.
Ignorance is not a virtue. As a person entrusted with the office, you should speak facts.
The parties were able to build consensus on the 18 of the 19 issues raised in the strike notice.
We have somebody offering something outside the collective bargaining agreement, and they're using reference of SRC document that has been suspended by the court.
Meanwhile, the Federation of Women Lawyers in Kenya threatened legal action against those responsible for prolonged strike. FIDA chairperson Christine Kungu urged the government to prioritize resolving the strike, emphasizing the right to health care enshrined in the constitution.
Consider the plight of the Kenyans who cannot find treatment in hospitals when they go.
Despite a court order stopping the government from intimidating on firing striking doctors, some striking medics have received their dismissal letters and have had their salaries for the period they have been on go-slow withheld. Among those who have already received sack letters are Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union Deputy Secretary General Dr. Dennis Miskela. In a letter seen by Maisha TV, Dr. Miskela was fired from his position as Senior Medical Officer by the Kiambu County government for desertion of duty.
Every county will take the necessary action as they deem fit.
All good things must have a sacrifice.
For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Mesh Msimbi.